So hello, welcome again to my channel. My name is Kat, and today we'll be discussing this beautiful sword, Brooch, and I think this is a French piece. And as you can see, it's got a really lovely black colored glass beading, and this is what's called Vauxhall glass or French jet, and it's a simulation or imitation of a real black jet that was mainly found in Whitby, Britain, and it gained its popularity during the Victorian era, where Queen Victoria, when she was very young, she went to a funeral of Austrian princess and she was wearing this black jet necklace. Now it definitely was influential, and there was a little craze about the black jet stone jewelry, even though black jet is actually not a real stone. It's a mineraloid, and it's fossilized wood, and for it to look like as it is now, it took millions of years for it to develop into this state. Now in approximately 1861, when Victoria's husband died, she decided to get into the mourning, and she was mourning for the rest of her life. Her favorite jewelry absolutely became the black jet jewelry, and because it was mined in Whitby, Whitby was the main producer of the jewelry. It became quite popular and famous at the time. Now, Whitby exported lots of black jet jewelry to France, and France was very interested in black jet. And I think because of the high demand for this beautiful magical stone, we'll speak something about the magical properties later on. France decided to imitate black jet because possibly because of the price, because of the high demand. And what we see here is a black Vauxhall glass, and it's flat on one side, so it's easy to attach on the surface. And we also see here some kind of animal. I'm not really sure whether animal was used here to attach the stones, or whether it's it should have that kind of even darker impact of the gem. But let's look at the metal. So I think it's a lower grade of silver, but you can also see some brass here. Now, I'm not really an expert on metals, but I would say that this is definitely a mixture of some a variety of metals such as brass and silver. There was a specific mixture of metal that was used during Art Nouveau era, and that was called tombak. But that was mainly in Europe, in Austria, Czechoslovakia, and Germany. Let's talk a little bit about the magical properties of the black jet or this imitation glass. Basically, the black became popular during the Victorian era because it was quite gothic-y, and mourning for our loved ones who died was very fashionable at the time. And because the stone was black, it was the perfect stone to wear when we were in the mourning. Memento mori, don't forget that you are meant to die, you're never gonna live forever. It was supposed to remind us, we're not on this plane, on this reality forever, but we will all pass into another plane, another kind of being or state of mind or state of being. Anyhow, Victoria definitely influenced this trend, and she probably loved going to Whitby as well, because there was lots of this jewelry. Now, if you don't know, there is a little museum in Whitby that you can visit, and it's got a showcase of all sorts of Whitby blackjack jewelry, and you can actually collect your own blackjack alongside the beach on the coast of Whitby and keep it, you know, as a lovely memory of the place and of the very significant era. I wanted to mention that there were other mines. The major mine was in Whitby, Britain, but there were also mines in France and Spain. France decided to, or planned to, export some of their own blackjack to Whitby, maybe because they wanted to export the stone, and then purchasing jewelry from Whitby would be quite cheaper. But Whitby in Britain decided that the blackjack from France wasn't up to their standards, so they in the end didn't send the blackjack. And maybe that was a reason why they finally decided that they are going to imitate the stone rather than purchasing the expensive Whitby jet jewelry. I also should mention that lots of Victorian and particularly Gothic era jewelry, such as this one, had a religious symbolic meaning, and the dagger or the sword was definitely one of the symbolic representations, you know, that we can find also in many churches. So that's also interesting. We can see lots of cameos, and we can also see crescent moons. Also, maybe I should mention that Romans were very much in favor, and that was in the 3rd century, and they were also using blackjack to produce rings, which I think is very interesting. But most of their art, jewelry production, was definitely associated with creation of cameos and signet rings. Roman jewelry specifically is very significant for that. But at the time there were no mines as such, but people were just collecting pieces of blackjack along the coast, and that they were then exported to York, where the jewelry was produced. So I think that might be everything that I can tell you about a blackjack. And the Vauxhall glass, I will definitely talk about glass imitation stones in the future videos. If you like this topic, you will definitely find videos, you know, related to this one in the future. And I wish you a really lovely day, and I might see you next time with my jewelry presentation in the future. Bye bye.